Gavel.
As soon as he's ready back there. All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. This is the Livingston Parish Council Board of Review. Ms. Sandy, would you like to do an invocation?
Sure.
Everyone please stand.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you and we thank you, Lord, for your grace and your hand that's upon our parish. Lord, everything that we do, we need to do, that it be your will. Lord, we just pray that you would continue to guide our steps and lead us, Lord, and help us and give us wisdom and knowledge that we need, dear Lord, to bring glory to you, because it's all about you. And it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Please. Mr. Talbot, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Sandy, will you roll call, please?
Mr. Liville.
Here.
Mr. Averett.
Here.
Mr. Mack. Mr. Girlinghouse. Mr. Talbert.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
Mr. Wascom.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Art.
Here. All right, this item 4, consideration of written or oral complaints of any person desiring to be heard on the assessments of immovable or movable properties who has timely filed reports as required by Louisiana Revised Statute 47-2301 and who has provided said complaint to the Office of the Board of Review prior to the close of business on September 6, 2018. Do we need to do any business with that? All right, item 5, certifications of 2018 assessment list. Mr. Taylor.
Okay, you need to give you a couple minutes to get set up. You ready? Okay. My name is Jeff Taylor. Y'all know me, the assessor. Got the numbers here for you. The packets are real easy to read and to look at. If you look down, you'll see that we've got our real property, taxable homestead, personal property, and public service all listed for you on your front page. And then that gives you those numbers. But if you go to the second page, it's your actual 2018 Board of Review. It's going to tell you what's what actually broke down. For the year 2018, we have $784,635,000, and I'm just going to round them. I'm not going to go all the way through each number, of a total assessed amount. And then you got a homestead of $244,700,000, and that gives us a taxable value for all of our entities and everything, $539,919,000, almost $540 million is our taxable value total for the taxable value, value for the Livingston Parish. Then it breaks down to your real property. You see that real property from 18 to 17 went up about $25 million. Roughly, give or take. Personal property went up about $8 million. 74. You see the number. We got them added all up for you. The thing I want to draw your attention to is public service. Okay, how is it that in a parish like ours, when we continue to grow and our people continue to get charged for things, every time we turn around, public service, which is done by the tax commission, not by our office, it's done by the tax commission. The tax commission all over the state keeps losing value. And when you watch on TV, sometimes you see that they're getting popped a few times here and there. You might know why. Because the values keep on going up. But we lost $2 million, $2,400,000 this year in public service. Now they say it's all depreciation and things like that. We don't get to take a lot of those things into account when we count on your house and your business and things like that. But public service gets to take that all the time. We're working on it. I will tell y'all that we're working on the legislature. Some of our parishes are really hurting because of this. Some of our parishes are stagnant. They have no growth. They're just completely counting on some of these things. And public service continues to get the break over and over and over. I look up here, I see a lot of y'all businessmen working. Your businesses don't get those tax breaks over and over. So we're going to continue to do that. But we had a $2,500,000 drop in public service for this year. That's a lot of drop for our parish. But we was able to make it up on other areas. We have a total difference, taxable value this year of 25 million. That's after losing the 2 million. And the reason for that, if y'all remember, the first year of the flood, 2016, I gave a 20% reduction in values. Second year, I gave a 25%. Third year, I had to go back to 20. Okay, so that, you see a jump there. It's not that we just actually poured more growth in. We did have a lot of growth, but it wasn't all that. It was because I dropped it from 25 to 20, so that you need to be fair about that. Although my guys are out there working real hard and trying to get everything they can, that's where that number is coming from. So we picked up a lot of that. Next year, I'm looking at about a 10% total reduction. And the reason I did that is because when it all first went down, the floods all happened, some of our surrounding parishes were giving a big reduction in the assessments. Ascension gave 70 to 75% on some of theirs. They had such a small amount of flood based on their total value that they could give 75, and as their assessor said, we can give a 70 to 75% reduction in assessment and it will not affect our roll. If I would have given a 75% reduction in everything that flooded here, y'all would have been bankrupt. So we had to actually go to bat and see how we figure out to where our districts could get enough money to survive, our people could get enough money to get a reduction. So I just happen to think that if it's fair enough that they get a 70% in Ascension and 60% in Baton Rouge and all that, it may take me 4 years to get my people a 70% reduction, but they're going to get their 70%. So the first year we went 20, second year we went 25, third year we're going 20. That leaves me with 10% left to give a total of 75% reduction. So that's why we're getting that much of a reduction. So next year, now starting in 2019, next year we will start doing our reassessment for 20. And all values will go back to what the assessed value says they ought to be. And by that time, we'll be 3 years after the flood. We should be able to start getting some clear numbers and some real clear sales to see what values are truly going to do. 3 years in, you ought to start. And now we're still going to have some growing pains. We're still going to have some areas that's got to be fixed. But we should start to get a stability about us. Okay? Is there anything that y'all have a question about? Any of these that you're looking at? I will tell y'all that when I walked in the office back in 2000, August the 31st of 2000, I think our taxable value, Brother Wayne, was it 101 million?
101 million.
101 million. 101 million. Now, today, our taxable value is 539 million. We have went up 438% in the 18 years I've been there. But that's not counting the first year when we went to 101, and then I purged the rolls and went down to about 92 million because the stuff wasn't on there. So we've had a lot of growth, a lot of work by our people. It hasn't all been growth. Some of it's just been finding property that wasn't listed, to be honest. So we've got all that, but we've had a tremendous amount of growth over here. I think our population at that time was somewhere in the neighborhood for the 2000 census was somewhere around 93,000. And from what I'm hearing now, we're 140-some thousand, 137, 140. Pretty good little growth too. You've grown in about 50%.
Jeff, quick question. I see for an assessed amount, is that the same thing as the appraised amount, or is that 10% of the appraised?
10%.
So the taxable 500 million is, that's basically 10%.
Not necessarily. All your businesses are 15% assessment.
Okay.
Your homes and land and everything is 10%. So you can't really, you're on the right track. But
Okay, but if you multiply that times, like I say, 5, then you might have the value of the whole parish retail. Or times 10, but it's not.
I'd say anywhere between 80 and 10.
Okay.
I mean, 8 and 10.
Okay.
You'd probably
It'd be pretty close to the.
Yeah, it'd be pretty close.
So this is the assessed value,
Yeah,
not.
because we got a lot of value. You got to realize that Homestead's knocking a lot of it down.
No, okay, I see
So
what you're
the
saying.
businesses and everything, they're all on at 15%. Every store, everything like that is 15% assessment.
Okay. Right.
So Quick and Handy is a 15% assessment. He can be right beside a building that is a house that can be exactly the same. They can be everything, stick for stick, brick for brick.
10%.
He's going to be 15, they're going to be 10. That's what the law says.
Jeff, can I ask you a question? I'm trying to read this, I'm confused. Okay, so the last page of the millage totals is what we collect as a parish inside or outside the city limits, depending on which city is got a millage that's being assessed, right?
Right?
Okay, and on Parish, I see where we've got that 2.32, that's the thing that the state gives us the right to assess no matter what. Where is it on the other page? I mean, is it supposed to be designated? Like, I'm looking at Parish law enforcement, it's like 10.55 mils, but if you go to the back page on consolidation, Parish law enforcement's 11.11. Where's the other part pick up at?
Probably, I'm gonna have to get, I can't see it, so I.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just thought you might.
We gotta be like that?
That's the ones without glasses left.
I mean, I can't see without them. I mean,
I'm talking about the scooter
I
on
agree
there
with you. I don't. Okay, so like, for example, on page 1 of the millage totals,
All right,
the second line item is Parish law enforcement.
Right.
It says 10.55 mils.
yes,
Okay? If you go to the back page and you go to Parish law enforcement regular outside the parish, it's 11.11. What's the difference between the 10.55 on the front and
well,
the
they've
11?
got two different millages now.
So they got another millage that we're not seeing?
Yeah, Parish law enforcement's got two millages. They've got a 10 and a 11. Let me see if I can find where that other one is. For you, see why it's not on here.
Middle page.
You see it, Wayne?
You see nothing, well, you got my
I
eyes.
got you. I actually had mine in the car too. I just forgot them.
Need some weight.
That would make sense if there's 2 million.
Third,
Oh, well, yeah, the third page is the actual deal that you normally that you see on your tax bill that comes
yeah,
to your
that's
house.
right. We got that. We got the 11. So you got 11, and then on the other we got a 10.55. So
Yeah,
they
I'm
got
trying-
actually two different taxes.
Okay, so there's I guess there's a difference between them of .06 something or whatever, or
Well,
whatever that math figure that's.
11.1 and one of them's 10.0.
Okay.
So it's a difference of 1.1 mils, but he's gonna collect both of them. And that's inside and outside. I don't know why it's not on both pages, but, there are two different distinct, parish-wide, law enforcement taxes,
Okay.
okay? And I don't know why it's not on this. I'd have to do some research and
This
see
one
it.
says city.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's different. I mean, if you'll
Well,
look
you got
up,
inside and outside.
you got inside and outside because,
But their millage,
because,
their millage is gonna be 10 and 11.1. See, the city of Denham Springs has a 2-point-something millage tax. Some of the other municipalities have some, so you gotta count all the stuff that's inside that, and you add that
And
2
then
point
you
something
break
to
it
Denham
down.
Springs, but everything else is still gonna be the 11.1
Okay.
and the 10. Okay?
okay.
And I'm trying to run through here to see if I can run across that other one, and I do not see it.
That's okay. I just was trying to add, I just was looking for numbers and didn't see some of them, so I might holler at you tomorrow. I mean,
That'd be fine.
next
Okay.
week or whatever.
I'll
Yeah,
have
not
time.
tomorrow.
Don't start, Peter.
Just call me and give me a fishing report tomorrow is all I can tell you. Where the trout's biting.
I'm gonna be working all day tomorrow, Mr. Frog, and
The two on that page 3, they're saying one's collected inside, one's collected outside.
Well, I understand, but I guess what I'm saying is that the front two pages
Yeah, see
are
on the
where you
front.
generate those numbers. I mean, if you look, the second page, like 5 and 6 from the bottom, one's the total inside, one's the total outside. That's everything added up in those lines.
right.
So I was going above and I see where the sheriff on that thing lists at 10.55.
Yep.
But on the other side, it's 11.1. The same thing with the parish. That 2.32 that's on parish outside isn't listed as a separate tax code up there.
Yeah,
I
Mr.
just,
Tyler, they may just not have them all listed.
Okay,
on here,
I just- that
but
might be-
I just want you to know that they have two distinct taxes.
Okay, I
for
got you.
Law enforcement, they have a 10 and 11.1.
okay.
They got two of them. But I can get with you on it. I don't know whether they're not listed on here, maybe just because of our software, but they only have one of them, but they do have two distinct ones.
Okay, well, I just, that one's the first one I looked at, it just jumped up, and then I noticed the parish, I was just wondering. All right,
And I will tell y'all this, something that, I know y'all know, but I think the public does not have a true appreciation of what small amount of money y'all get off of villages.
Oh, it's a little bit.
They don't.
They
They
don't have,
flush with
they don't have
cash.
they do not have an appreciation for it. And I hear it all the time, people come in and say, where's all the money going to? Where's all the money going? Where's all the money to? When you look at the number of people that we have in our parish and the things that are having to be done by everybody, I can talk about firemen, I can talk about, your fire districts are always running short of money. I mean, they just have small districts. Your police, they're asking for more money, they need more money. The parish council certainly needs more money, because every time you turn around, you got the jail y'all taking care of. That's a big one. That's a
Well,
big
I mean-
piece out of that. But then taking care of our roads and everything, and when you look at the total amount of millage that y'all get through the whole parish of what y'all actually get off of that total number of an average of 120-something mills, and the small amount of millage y'all get to run the parish, y'all
We get
commended.
2.32 of discretionary revenue.
If you calculate 1 year, I calculated it on, it's 4 cents on the dollar on your property tax bill is what comes to us.
Well, why in the world can't y'all get stuff done?
Oh, we can't just not
Well,
do
I mean, the
nearly as
thing-
much as we want to.
And the thing that's ironic is that constitutionally, that 2.32 started out at 5, right? And within a city was 7? Is that the constitutional deal that was originally given?
That was before me.
And then they get rolled back. You know what I'm talking
They got
about?
rolled back for a while, but what happened on the rollback is, and it was explained, and it was explained, and it was explained, that you can roll back. You got 2 or 3 different villages is what you have. And you roll one back this year. You got 4 years. You need to establish a maximum, and then from there you roll them back. Now in y'all's case, it's a little bit different because the money's just not flowing as big for y'all. But if you got 3 millages, let's just say that each one of them, and I'm making these numbers up, let's just say each one of them is 5 mills. Well, year 1, you establish all 3 of them at the top, 5 mills. Year 2, you lower one of them to 4 and leave the other 2 at 5. Year 3, you lower one of the other ones to 4 and you move it back up to 5. And that way you always get to keep your maximum, but you're also giving as much back to the people as you possibly can. Look, it takes a certain amount of money to run government. And I don't care what affiliation you are or anything, it takes a certain amount of money. Now, we can cut and we can add, we can do whatever we want to, but you still have to have a certain amount to meet the absolute bottom line. And again, I just want to tell y'all, I compliment y'all on the fact that there's just not a lot of money there, and you still get things done. And so, thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, what is it?
Need a motion to accept it?
I'll make a motion to accept.
There's 2 resolutions that need to be adopted. The first being that the Livingston Parish Council, meeting as the Board of Review, does hereby formally accept the certification of the 2018 assessment list of the valuation of the assessments as submitted by the assessor of the Parish of Livingston for the tax year 2018. That's the
You gotta
first
do them separate.
resolution.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Mr. Talbot, second by Mr. Watson. Any comments from the public on this? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
The
Resolution
second
passes.
one will be resolved that the Livingston Parish Council, meeting as the Board of Review, does hereby sustain the valuation of the assessments as fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission and the assessor of the Parish of Livingston for the tax year 2018.
Motion by Mr. Avery. Second by Mr. Lobel. Any comment from the public? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Resolution passed.
Yep.
Now,
Make a motion to adjourn.
adjourn. Do we need to set Jeff first?
We're done.
We done with him?
Yep.
All right.
Hey, Mr. Taylor.
Motion from Mr. Talbot to adjourn. Second from Mr. King. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion.
Thank you, Jeff.